Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're going to be playing Dots What You Get. Now, I had to double check this because the name rang a bell for me, and not too long ago we actually did play Dots What She Said, which you should definitely go and check out over here somewhere, from full deck and missing a few cards. This is, however, not what we're playing today, and today we're actually playing a fog puzzle. And I admit, I don't quite get the name. But, going with it, you can see Sleuth is inspecting something very closely, and he can see the dots emerging and being a bit clearer. I guess we kind of live in a matrix world. Everything is a dot. That would all make sense. Now, today's puzzle is a fog puzzle from Megano 33, which I know you guys absolutely love. And here I am, I think I get the reference for dots what you get, because all possible blah 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 dots are given. So that will probably explain the rule set and the title. Anyhow, I really shouldn't be talking about it without showing you what's going on. Let's take a look at today's puzzle and rule sets from Dots What You Get by Megano 33 and the following set of rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and then every 3x3 box. Then we have, digits in a cage do not repeat and must sum to the clue in the top left. So for example, if this cell is a 2, these two cells now have to add up to 6, so that, 6 plus 2 is equal to the 8, which is the killer cage clue that we're given in here. Digits in cages, they do not repeat. So whilst this cage is clearly not repeating because it's in the same box, if the cage was doing something along those lines, it's still the same, because I cannot have repeated digits inside a cage. Adjacent digits along a green German whisper line must have a difference of at least 5. So if this cell is indeed a 2, the two adjacent cells, you can see that this German whisper line heads off into the fog here, must be 7, 8 or 9 to be indeed 5 or more away. You can see that this German whisper line also continues to fork into this cell. So if this cell was a 2, for example, this would have to be 1 or 3. And here lies a pattern of low digits 1, 2, 3, 4, high digits 6, 7, 8, 9, and continuously, what was I going to say? Oscillating between the two. Right, here is the dots. There's a few rules, unfortunately, that are hidden behind the fog. Okay. So a black dot between cells indicates cell values with a 2-to-1 ratio, and all possible dots are given. And a white dot between cells indicates cell values with consecutive values, but not all white dots are given. So this is interesting. We only have one negative constraint. So if this cell is a 2, you can see that this is a white dot. This would have to be 1 or 3 so that these two cells are consecutive. The fact that negative constraint is not an issue for white dots, a 3 in here next to this 2, without a white dot, you can definitely see there's nothing peeking into the fog there, peeking out of the fog. That would be fine. However, I wouldn't be able to put a 4 in there because that is clearly in a 2-to-1 ratio, and black dots have a negative constraint. And if that white dot was a black dot, it would be 1 or 4, so that one cell is double the other. Now, clearly, I've talked a little bit about the fog. The grid is partially covered with fog, and correctly placed digits will clear the fog around them. No guessing is required. So if this 2 is correct, all of the surrounding fog cells will be revealed, and hopefully gives us a bit more information to allow us to solve this puzzle. Now, there are 3 more rules that we cannot see. First one is a magenta line forms a renban. So typically somewhere in this fog, you're going to see something like that. And what that's saying is that all the cells on this magenta line, which are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, have to form a consecutive set of digits without any repeats. And the emphasis is without any repeats here. So, technically these two could have the same digits, but not if they're on a renban. So one kind of example of that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be fine. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 would also be fine. What I cannot do is do 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. That is no longer a consecutive set. We also have adjacent cells with an x must sum up to 10. Somewhere in the fog, you're going to see cells that have a little x between them, usually black, and the two cells that are connected by them must sum up to 10. So if that cell is a 2, this would have to be an 8 to make sure that these two cells add up to 10. Lastly, we will have something that looks as follows. I'm going to pick a color that is absolutely not correct. But essentially, somewhere in this grid, you're going to find cells that are covered with a gray square. And all that's saying is that this must be an even digit. So it'll have to be 2, 4, 6, or 8. So that's all the rules we have for today. As always, if you want to play along, link will be in the description down below for you to do so. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock and see how I get on. So 8 in 3 cells can only be done in one of 2 ways, 1, 2, 5 and 1, 3, 4. We clearly know that there is a 1 in here. Now, if this is 1, 3, 4, it starts to get a bit tricky. Does it? Well, in essence, something as follows. I will end up with 3 low digits in here. This would have to be a high digit because it's oscillating, but then this would have to be a low digit again. It'll be the 2. So essentially, I've used all the low digits. So the 4 would have to be in here to allow this to be a 5. Neither of these are a 4. This being 1 or 3, this is 7, 8, or 9. And that's one possibility. Of course, this would be a high digit again. So this is kind of the world if this is 1, 3, 4. Now I'm half tempted to leave everything intact so I don't have to try and memorize it and repeat myself. But let's imagine that this is now the 8 cell and it's 1, 2, 5. Can't have a 5 on a German whisper line. This will have to be a high digit and this will have to be a low digit. And 1, 2 are gone, so this would have to be 3 or 4. There was no mention of the German whisper line being kind of 1 and only. So this cell here, well, I mean, this wouldn't be a 1 because the neighbor would be a 2 and the 2 is already occupied. This would be a high digit and it'll be, again, 7, 8, or 9. Can't have a 6 because these are not double 1s. I am forgetting the negative constraint. So this doesn't work, does it? If this is a 1 or 2, if it's a 1, well, the neighbors will include a 2, and that would be essentially in a 2-to-1 ratio in one of them. If it was a 2, well, this would be the 1, and then that would be in a 2-to-1 ratio again. And again, there are no black dots within this 8. So this is forced to be what we just kind of drawn up here. Right, we're going to have to remember this negative constraint, otherwise we're not going to get very far. So this is 4, this is 5, this is a 2, this is a high digit, therefore this is a low digit. It is not a 4, it is 1, 2, or 3, meaning this is 7, 8, or 9. It's still a German whisper line. Keep that in mind. So a 7 and 3 are too close. They're only 4 apart. So that's not 7, that's not 3. 8 and 9 both work, and this can still be a 3. Interesting. 2 can't be next to the 4. That would be in a 2-to-1 ratio, so that has to be the 1. That has to be a 9. Still leaves me with 1, 3 options in here, and still leaves me with 7, 8, 9. 1 in there goes up to a high digit, which is 6, 7, or 8. Can't be a 6, otherwise it would be a double 1 in the same box. You can see the German whisper line is heading off to that cell, so that's not a 6. 7 and 8 both work. 8 would require a 3. 7 would require a 4. And this would be 2 or 3, given it can't be a 1. Interesting. 2 and 4 is tricky. So what would be 2 and 4? If this is 7, that would be 4, and this would have to be a 2, and then that would be a 2-to-1 ratio. I'm deliberately going to fill it in because I know it's wrong. Because if it's a 7, to get to 11, it has to be a 4. And then to be 5 or more away, it can only be 1 and 2. So that would be a 2, and that's in a black Kropke dot kind of range. So that has to be 8. That has to be 3. That's not a 3. That is now a 2 because it's not 1 or 3. So that has to be a 2. This is a high digit that is next to the 7. So this is 7, 8, or 9, all of which is allowed. Remember, this is an even digit and it's not 2, 8, or 4. That is a 6. Not sure I quite get the significance of that. It's on the renban. These are, I mean, that's not a 5, but I mean, these are 5, 4 and 7. That's not a 5, however. Both of these are going to work, isn't it? No, that can't be 4 next to the 8. So that's 5 or 7. And both of these work. All of this works. That can't be an 8. Remember again with the black Kropki dot, this is 7 or 9. That can't be a 1 next to the 2, otherwise it'll be a black Kropki dot. That's a 3, that's a 1. Still allows me to have a 7 or 9. 6 is none of these cells. 6 is up here. And this is essentially high digits only, 6, 7, 8, 9. That is not 6 or 8, that's another 7 or 9. This is 6 or 8. That removes an 8 from over here. You can see it kind of tucks a corner, so to speak. So that is a low digit, and it's not 1 or 4, it's 2 or 3. And you can see it comes back. We don't know if it forks, but we know that these two cells are definitely connected. There's just no way of not connecting them as such. So this has to be a high digit, and it's not a 9. It is 6, 7, or 8. 6 is not possible because that can't be a 1. And because it's 7 or 8, that low digit that it's heading off to is 1, 2, or 3. Interesting. These are all now 2, 3, 5s. I mean, I can, that can't be a 3 next to the 6, so that is 2 or 5, and this is 2, 3, or 5. Now no, I was going to say something silly, like if this is 2 or 3, it will break, but that's not true because the neighbors are not in a 2-to-1 ratio. Interesting. 6, 8, 7, 9. Sometimes negative constraints can be so hard to spot. This is a high digit, and it is 7, 8, or 9. That 5, well, that 7 can't be heading to an 8 inside a 7-cell cage, regardless of how big this is. So this is clearly heading to 4 or 6, regardless if this is 5 or 7. Not regardless, obviously if it's 7, it can't get to 4. Now if this is 2 cells, we're in trouble with 4 because that can't be a 3. But I can't see whether this is 2 cells or not. You can see this renban, you can see it sort of poking through the corner there, through the corner there. You can see that this renban is doing something as follows, which is quite a long renban. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, at least 8 cells. It's not a small renban for sure. Anyway, can't make an assumption that this is a 6 and that this is a 1. So 4, 7, 9. I need a 1 in here with a 4, 7, or 9. I still have 4, 5, 7, 8, and a 6. I have a 6 in one of these 2 cells. So you can see that there's a bit of pressure in that the 1 cannot be next to a 2 in the same column, and a 6 cannot be next to a 3 in the same column. 8 and 4 as well is also tricky. Well, it's just not enough. Let's make, so I know that no, I don't know that. I can't have, where am I going with this? The 8 and 4 are interesting. And I'm trying to think about the pressure it would cause if I place a 4 in here, this would have to be an 8. So 4 can't be there. But if I place a 4 there and a 6 there, that would have to be the 2. That would be a 5, that would be a 3, and then that would be a 1. All of that is fine. And then that would be free to be whatever it wants, and this would be a 5, 7 pair, so that would be 8 again. So the 4 here would make this an 8. 4 here would obviously make this not an 8, it would be a 7. And then that would be 5. And then this would be 6, 8. So I mean, it's 4, 6, 8 is kind of what I'm getting at, I believe. It can't be 5 or 7. Yes, if it's 5 or 7 in here, that would be a 5-7 pair, and then that would force the 4 and 8 together, and that would break. But yeah, I'm not getting the next step, if I'm honest. If this is 3, that would have to be 8, that would have to be 9, and then that couldn't be 4, that would have to be the 4, and then that would have to be a 6, which would break. That is very tricky to spot. Again, I'm confident that it's not the case. 3 in here requires 2 digits that are far enough apart, so it'd have to be an 8-9 pair. 8 here means that can't be 4, so the 4 would be there. That would put a 6 in here next to the 3, and then this would break. So that has to be a 2, that is a 5, that is a 3. 3 can never be next to the 6 we've established, and therefore this is the 6. And there's clearly something I'm still not quite getting to. This renban will require a 4, and a 5. It's not really enough information. The 1 can't be here anymore, it has to be there. And this is 4, 7, or 9. Seemingly, well, other than the 4, just completing the row. And therefore, this couldn't be a 4 next to the 2. That's 7 or 9, so that is the 4. That's not a 4. That's a 5-7 pair, which gives me 8 and 4. Interesting. 8 is kind of very permissive here, so it's not helpful. This is 1, 3, or 4, just consecutive, but not a 2 in the column. It's not enough information to show me that 7, which is unfortunate. That is not a 6. It is 7, 8, or 9. Right, let's think about what this is. This cannot be bigger than 1 or 2. Even if this is a 2-cell cage, anything bigger than 1 or 2, I mean, the only way this would work is 1 and 6. But anything bigger in here would be a 4, and then these are too high. So this is 1 or 2. So I'm kind of wondering, am I thinking about this renban despite not knowing that this is a 2-cell cage? If this is 4, that would be 3. That would be 6. If this is 1, that would be 2, and 2 would require like a 4 and a 1. It would have to be a 3-cell 7 cage, and the 1 is in here. I just can't see how this is ever a 2. 2 only works if this is 2, 4, and a 1. But I mean, I can have 2 and 4. I don't have to have the 1 in here. I could have 2, 4. I could have the 1 somewhere else, but the 1 would be next to the 2, because the cage would have to be something doing like that. And whichever one is the 1, clearly it's not this side because of this 1, it will be a black rock dot next to the 2, which is not allowed. Well, we can't see it. I'm just talking to myself now, aren't I? That can't be 1 because that can't be 2. 2 with 1 and 3, and then 3 has to go to 4. So 1 makes this 2 and breaks. That can never be a 1. That's fair. Even if this could be 1, even if this could be... No, this could never be 2. We're back to the same challenge. 2 and 4 would require a 1, which is in a black... No, but we don't see the black rock dot. Never mind. Just rehashing the same deduction again and again. So... this is 2, 3, or 3, 4. There is always a 3 between these two cells. 2 and 3 are allowed. 3 and 4 are allowed. 3 in here would require a 4. 4 in here would require a 6. So there's always a 4 between these two cells as well. So this can't be 1. Can it be 2? It would require 3, 4, 6. Yes, it can. Can't be 3, can't be 4. Could be 5, can't be 6, it's already on the renban. Could be 7 or 8. You know, I'm just clearly barking up the wrong tree there. This is not the path. Huh. This can't be 1, can't be 2 next to the 4, can't be 3, can't be 4, can be 5, can be 6, can be 7, can't be 8 because there's a black crop dot, can be 9. Is maybe the question to ask, where does 1 go? 1 can certainly go here, it's just a bit challenging if the renban ends. 1 can't go there, and 1 could go here, and 1 could... Oh, in the row rather than the renban. 1 can go here. Sorry, I've gone very quiet because I feel like I must be missing something that for one reason or another I'm just not seeing. 7 would be 6, would be 1. I mean, if this is 6, this is always 1. If this is 4, this could never be 2. This is always 1. Because it's not a black crocodile. We can see that. That's a 1. Sorry, that took a while. And it is 2 cells. That's a 6. It does give me both options, 5 and 7. That can't be a 3 anymore, so that has to be a 4. That has to be a 3. Right, took me a while. 6. I think that's it. In here is 7, 8, or 9. Can't be an 8 next to the 4. This is again 7, 8, or 9. And this time it can be an 8. This is a low digit that is not 1 or 3. This is 2 or 4. Can't be a 4 because that would require a double 9. That's a 2. This is again another 7, 8, or 9. And then that's a 7, 8, 9 triple, including an 8 in here. That is not 7 or 8. That is a low digit that is not 1 or 4. This is 2 or 3. It's a high digit that is not a 9. It's 7 or 8. Can't be a 6 next to a 2. This is a low digit that is not 1, 4, or 2. That's a 3. That is a high digit that is 8 or 9 next to the 3. That is a low digit that is not a 3. It is 1, 3. Technically, I can do 4. 7, 8, or 9 in here. This is 6, 7, 8, or 9 to be consecutive, but it's not 8. This is not 1 or 3. It's 2 or 4, but a 4 would require a double 9. That's a 2. This renban is way longer than I was expecting. So 6 can't repeat on the renban. That's not a 6. This is an odd digit. That has to be an even digit. That is 8 for it to be consecutive. Where is the 6 now on this in this box? Well, given it's not on the renban, and it's none of these digits, and it's not this cell, that's the only place for it. It actually places a 1 on this renban, so this has to be a fairly sizable renban at this point. I mean, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cells at a minimum. And it includes a 1 because, well, you know, I still haven't placed it in the box and it's somewhere in here. as is the 4. So that is a 1-4 pair. This is from 5, 7, 8, or 9. And seemingly it can be any of them. This is not a 7 next to the 3. This is 8 or 9. That's all about it I can do right now. 7, 9 pair in the column, which allows me to pencil mark the following 1, 4, and 6. 1, 4 pair. There's another 7, 8, 9 in here, plus 2 more digits, which are 3 and 5, I believe. Can't have a 3 in here. Can have a 5, and can have 7, 8, or 9. Now, I'm not going to pencil mark this. We haven't really thought about this renban, and I should. This is not a 2, this is 3 or 5. So 2, 3, 5 triple gives me 6, 7, 8 in here. Are any of these interesting? No. Interesting in the sense, you know, black Kropke dot, negative constraints. So there's another 5, 7, 9, and a 1. No, not a 1. And a 4. And the 4 can't be next to the 2. That's a 4. Neither of these are 4s. This is 5, 7, or 9. All of which is allowed. No, it's negative constraints, I mean. There's another 5, 7, 9, and then 1 and 3. 1 and 3 can't be here. 1 would be a black Kropke dot. 3 would be obviously breaking Sudoku. This is the 5, 7, 9. And this is a 1, 3 pair. 1, 3 pair. Unexpected in row 9 gives me a 6. Ooh. Not expected. I made a Sudoku mistake somewhere. That's because it's not 1 or 3, it's 1 or 2. Typo on my part. Seven, 9 pair, which means there's another 2 low digits and a 5. Now, the 2 low digits and the 5 are not 1, 4, 5, or 3 in this cell. It can only be a 2 and a 3 in here, which makes this immediately an 8, makes this immediately a 9 to be next to the 3. That gives me a 7 in here, which doesn't help me with the 8, 9. That 3 gives me 5, gives me 2. And we still need another 1, 4, and a 5. I mean, I'm just going to pencil mark them for now. 1 and 4 are already placed on this renban, so they're not this cell. That's a 5. Now, what have I got on this renban that's been revealed? That 5 gave me a 7 in here and a 5 on the renban. And now I've got 1, 2. I still need a 3 somewhere in here, which is not this cell, not this cell. That's the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is that 8, 9? Is it a 9-cell renban? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, it is. That's a 7. This is not 7 or 9. That's a 5. That's not a 5. This is an 8, 9 pair. That's another 7. The 1, 4 are not helped. The 8, 9 are not helped. Yeah, none of these matter. 8 and 9, 8 and 9. No. Right, we need a 1 or 4. I mean, the 1 can't be in these cells, so that is the 1, which also makes that a 4, which makes this not an 8. That's a 9. That's an 8. That's a 1. These 2 cells are also known. They are 6, which can't be next to the 3, so that's the 6 and 4, which can't be next to an 8. That's 9. That's 8, which gives me a 7 and 9. Does it help me with the 6 and 8? I don't think it does. The 9 bounces back, gives me an 8 here, which does help, 6 and 8. This is 1 or 2. It's not a 2. That's 1. That's 2. We now need in here 4, 5, and 6, seemingly. That can't be 4. That can't be 4 next to the 8. That's the only place for a 4. 5 and 6 seemingly are unresolved. These are 7 and 9, seemingly unresolved. Neither of these are 8s. 6, 7 pair makes this not 7, makes this not 7. And in fact, the 9 gave me 5 and 9. That is not 1 or 4, that is a 6. That's a 1, that's a 3, that's a 1, that's a 4. I don't know what's going on here. 5 gave me 6, 5, 7, 6, 9, 7. We're getting there. 7 gives me 9, 7, 9, 7. I need a 2 somewhere in this box, which can only be in here. I've already got 1, 2. I need 3 in here. 4, I need 5 in there. 7 in here. 8 in there. And if I've not made any mistakes, well, I made 1. 9 for the finish. Beautiful puzzle once again, Megano Double 3. I mean, fog is like, you know, almost your speciality, but they are extremely popular. Even regardless of how quickly I get to your puzzles, they've already had a few hundred solves by the time I get there. Hope you guys enjoyed the puzzle and video. I hope you enjoy the rest of the week and see you back soon. Bye-bye for now.